Hi all. Now you need to understand the reason why we are doing this training is to understand why and how the sexual harassment can be a problem at workplace. And if any company has more than 10 female employees, it is mandatory for them to take the POSH training. So this is a chance for you to be a POSH certified, and this program is not only for the individuals, but also for the corporates who can actually buy this program and give it to their employees and make them understand how the sexual harassment can take place at workplace and what they should do in order to prevent and prohibit that sexual harassment. So, hi, this is Monica Khatwani. I'm into corporate training. I'm into training and development since 16 years. I have been given the multiple trainings in the corporates. I have given the multiple trainings in the schools and various industries, colleges, and all in India and abroad, of course. So, here I'm going to tell you about something that is going to help you getting the certificate of POSH individually and also at the workplace. So this certification is basically important for all the users who are actually working in an organization which has more than 10 female employees in it. So let's start. The topic that I'm going to cover is prohibition, prevention, and redressal of sexual harassment at workplace. What is the full form of POSH? First of all, that is prevention of sexual harassment. So, what happens? This presentation is general, provide to general overview of the sexual harassment of women at workplace. That is according to the Act 213, 2013, and the Rules 3 Order. So the information contained herein does not constitute any kind of legal advice. To deal with the specific situations, please consult your appropriate advisor, because there are different committees, different internal complaints committees that are designed in order to take the POSH further. Any kind of sexual harassment take point further, and the court needs to look for it. So how this presentation and this thing is going to help you, this training is going to help you and let you know that how you can take it further. So there would be four structures of this presentation, in which phase one, wherein I would be telling you about the introduction and what are Vishaka guidelines that have been made in 1997. Phase two would cover definitions under POSH Act. What is sexual harassment? What comes into the sexual harassment and what doesn't come into the sexual harassment? And then third would be workplace. Then phase three would definitely be related to the key obligations of the employer, procedures for complaint and redressal under IPC, that is Internal Complaint Committee, and then procedure for complaint and readmission under POSH Act. So what sort of complaints you can actually do under POSH Act, that we are going to cover. Then phase fourth will be 10 ways to know that your office is a safe place or not. So let's start with the phase one, where I'm going to tell you a little bit of introduction. So Vishaka is what is in the state of Rajasthan, decided by the Supreme Court. This committee was formed. In this committee, according to the section 3011, this committee was formed in 13th August 1997. So what happens in this committee? What is Vishaka? So Rajasthan government female employee was brutally gang raped at her workplace. So a written petition was there at where the sexual harassment at workplace was filed first in the Supreme Court. Then the Supreme Court used the opportunity to actually address the actual issue. So that means Supreme Court decided, when the petition was filed, the Supreme Court read the petition. It was actually the facts that were actually into the mind of people, that there should be a strict policy uh, at all the workplaces wherein this specifically should be addressed. And if any employee, now in this time, not only the females employee, but also the male employee can file a case against the employer or against anyone in the company who is doing the sexual harassment to them. So what would include in the sexual harassment that I'm going to tell you? So the Vishaka guidelines, what are the Vishaka guidelines? It is very important to understand first what are Vishaka guidelines and how actually you are going to take a help from those guidelines is that if anybody is doing the sexual harassment at workplace, there are certain categories of the sexual harassment. What comes into the sexual harassment and what doesn't come into the sexual harassment. So with examples, I'm going to definitely explain you. So there are certain Vishaka guidelines and we are going to address those guidelines. I'm going to tell you that what exactly can be complained about, to whom can be complained about, and what is the procedure of complaint. So Vishaka guidelines is basically that provides a constitution of complaints committee. So there are certain people who actually are in this committee, and they provide the mechanism of filing the complaint. So if, let's say, if somebody from your organization is having the issue, they actually will file a complaint. And then there would be a certain committee that would be sitting, that is ICC, Internal Complaint Committee. That internal complaint committee would be sitting in your office at your workplace, and from that workplace there would be certain people, and there should be like at least more than 4 members, more than 7 members as a woman should be there. So in that committee, that is very important, and other related persons related to this, the committee should be sitting in the office. So these guidelines were replaced by the Sexual Harassment Act of Workplace, that is a Prohibition and Redressal Act, that is called the POSH Act. So it was basically, the act was designed in 2013 to incorporate this as a law to every organization where the female employees are more than 10. So understanding the law, now let's understand what is law and what is Indian Penal Code has said about it. So the POSH Act has been enacted with the objective of preventing and protecting women against workplace sexual harassment to ensure effective redressal of complaints of sexual harassment. So that means somebody cannot fake, because the proper evaluation, the proper questioning would be done. In case if you are putting an allegation on someone, a proper questioning would be done to you into the forum. So you should be ready with that. It is not like that, oh, okay, I got harassed and regarding this. You have to literally give the proofs that you have been harassed. So you have to be very, very clear that you have the proofs. Otherwise, the action would be taken against you. So this is very important from the POSH Act, because it has been found that the many females have been filing the forged complaints against the male in their offices. And then they were caught that, yes, there was no certain proof for that. So they were also penalized for that. So that is very important to understand that you have to be very careful when you are actually filing the complaints. You need to know that exactly the thing happened to you or not. You were not involved somewhere there. You didn't get the hint, or you may be not involved there in the complete act. So you need to take care of all these things. Now, there are certain key definitions of POSH that we should understand. So first is an implied or explicit promise of preferential treatment in the employment, about present or future employment status, humiliating treatment, interference with work, or creating the intimidating or hostile environment. So actually there are few elements that we will talk about, wherein we will talk about when you have made certain promise that it is not only the harassment like that. For example, promise in the sense, I'll give you the promotion when you will do this to me, right? When you will open your clothes or when you kiss me or something like that. So any kind of promise that is made, that is also in the sector of sexual harassment. Or the threat is given. If you're not going to do this, if you're not going to sleep with me, if you're not going to do this, if you're not going to turn off your clothes, or you're not going to wear off your clothes in front of me, then I'm going to sue your brother or sue your friend or maybe sue your parents, something like that. Or I tell your parents that, yes, this you have done to somebody else. So any kind of threatening activity should not be there. If it has involved you to be very sure. And then implied or explicit threat about present or future of the employment status, that I will fire you in case if you're not able to, if you're not going to do that. Okay, you will be out of the job. I'll demean you, I'll show this to you, or you will be out of the job for any XYZ reason if you're not going to do this to me. So interference with work of creating an intimate or hostile environment, wherein you have created the environment wherein the people are, let's say, during the work, you have created the environment where that you have found being kissing to someone, or you have been like wearing revealing clothes in front of in your environment, and then it's not only for the females but also the males who are actually jerking their penises in front of everyone or at a workplace. So this type of environment should not be created. Humiliating treatment, any kind of humiliating treatment like making comments on the body, that also comes into the harassment. That you have a sexy figure, right? Or you have sexy boobs, or maybe you have sexy bums. These type of comments which are humiliating, that affect the health or safety of the environment, so this should be avoided. So all these things comes into the sexual harassment. Now, sexual harassment would be anyone more of the following unwelcome acts. So first, let us understand what are unwelcome acts. So when I say unwelcome acts, I mean that are not pleasing, in which you're not feeling happy about. Okay, so let's say your boss is touching you like this, and you're not feeling happy about. So that is unwelcoming act. So somebody is commenting on your body, let's say, and you're not feeling good about it. So that is unwelcome act. Somebody, let's say you have a boyfriend, right? And somebody is commenting on your personal life. Okay, you sleep with your boyfriend. How do you sleep with your boyfriend? Or sleep with me also like you have slept with your boyfriend. So anything that is unwelcoming, that is not pleasing you, that you're not liking it, is something that is called the unwelcome act. Now, you have to make the physical, there are certain implications to that, that physical contact and advances. Like, for example, somebody will try to touch you, even like this. Let's say somebody tries to touch you even like this, and you're not liking it. So, because you would feel the sense of touch, the intention of the touch when the other person is touching to you. Somebody touching at your upper part, somebody's touching at your lower part. So without your permission or without your consent, so it is unwelcoming act. Then a demand or request for sexual favors, any kind of sexual favors. If you sleep with me, I'll give you the promotion. Or if you sleep with me, I'll give you certain benefits, like that. So a demand or request of any kind of sexual favors. Making sexually colored remarks. For example, like I said, that your boobs are very nice, your bumps are very nice, or you have a nice cleavage, like that. Okay. Or any kind of color remarks. Oh, your nipples are glowing, like that. Any kind of colored remarks, any kind of thing that is making you feeling uncomfortable is an sexual harassment. Even showing the pornography, porn videos, or seeing the porn videos in front of, just to show you that that is also act of pornography. If somebody is doing in personal, that's their choice. But in office premises, it is not allowed at all. Then unwelcome physical, verbal, or non-verbal conduct of sexual nature, like even abusing, like the common Hindi slangs like "maa ki choot," "behen ki choot." So these type of languages are not at all allowed during the act or during the office premises, or any kind of verbal or non-verbal conduct. Non-verbal means language also. The way the person looks at you, the way the person is looking at your boobs, the way the person is looking at your, like maybe at the lower part of your body or any part of the body. So it's not always about touch. It also, so if somebody's, the way of looking is feeling you uncomfortable, it is also an unwelcome physical, verbal, or non-verbal conduct of sexual nature. Now, let's have certain situations to understand better. Let's say there is a person of a junior college who was asked to organize an event for the training of another employee. Let's say the person is intern. And a new team leader is there, submitted his report for the training program, blaming Miss B incompetency for the failure of the event. Miss B felt really embarrassed and filed a complaint for sexual harassment against, alleging that the report was only to harass her. Will the use of such harsh language be constituted as sexual harassment because it's direct towards a junior female colleague? No, not at all. Why? Because the team leader, has only talked about the incompetency regarding the training program the person did not deliver. But there are no certain proofs wherein he made any kind of comment to the person B or intern about their sexuality, or maybe he might have not touched there. But in case if the B claims that yes, the person has said certain things to me, if you would sleep with me, then only I would be able to approve your report, or I would be able to show the training programs. Then, of course, and if the person B is able to prove that, if she has certain kind of recording, if the person B is able to prove that, or anybody is there who can prove that yes, the team leader has done that, then only this situation will come into the sexual conduct. But in case if you do not have the solid proof, because it has been noticed recently, the females have been taking the advancement or advantage of their bosses by complaining the act of sexual harassment when there it is not. So it has to be like somebody should know about it, that the person has done that. If the person is, if you're so, and the proof should be there where the training program designed by Miss B is not in a proper manner. What are the facts that should be there that are missing over there, or that can be neglected, or that cannot be neglected? In that cases, the situations can be in favor of Miss B. But in case if she's putting the incorrect allegations just to show that yes, she is alleged just because she did the work wrong, then she would be penalized. So it is from the both the situations. So if you have subtle proofs, if somebody knows that the person has been harassing you, or in the training report also it's been seen that yes, you haven't put really the good efforts in making the training program, and it's just for the sake, and the person is only asking you that to work on that, then you would be in problem as Miss B. But if it is really a fact where you have certain proofs, certain people over there, and you have done everything with your good with your training program, and the person you do not have any kind of recordings or anything like that, or repeated behavior acts like that, you would not be able to do that. So in that case, person A would be right. So you have to be very careful while you're working. So one comment, if you see from somebody else, make sure that second time you have proofs that yes, this is happening to you. Now, workplace includes the private organizations such as your organization, any other place visited arising of or during the course of employment. Like, for example, it's not about that the place where you're working in. This is only the workplace. Let's say you need to go for a meeting at some other place. And over there, somebody is going to harass you. You're still at the work. Even then, it would be considered as a sexual harassment. Even if you're going for a meeting at somebody else's workplace and somebody else is doing trying to take the advantage of you or using such words where you are actually not feeling comfortable, that is also the sexual harassment. So workplace doesn't mean only the place where you're working in, but also if you're going for certain meetings, if you're going for just having the workshops or something like that, that are also treated as a workplace. So some of the basic examples of a professional relationship are colleague-peers relationship, employee-employer relationship, team leader and team members relationship. So these relationships are basically known as a workplace relationships. Majorly, we talk about that. Now, there is a situation too. Let's understand. Ms. B is a new employee in the organization. She shared her contact information with her colleagues. Mr. A, who was a member of Ms. B's team, and they kept trying to initiate conversation with Ms. B over social networking applications and text after office hours. Mr. A also started cracking obscene jokes and memes to Ms. B. Ms. B filed a complaint of sexual harassment, Mr. A. Does that conduct of Mr. A amount to sexual harassment at workplace? Yes, 100% yes. All the proofs are there. The sexual texts are there. The after office hour, the texts are there, which are not actually related to the office work. Also, apart from that, Miss B is not comfortable if she's not reverting in advance. She's not reverting any such comment, or she doesn't have, which proves that yes, she's also interested. She's not texting back any kind of sexual memes or any kind of obscene jokes or memes, anything like that, or she's not happy with that. It would be shown in the basically the messages. So it is important. So it would create a certain sort of proof, and this proof you can use definitely as a sexual harassment at workplace. Now, the third thing is obligation of an employer and readdressal mechanism.